Hi there, it's Chris. I want to give you context for this footage. This is from Wednesday, the 10th of September, 2025, during my waterings to try and help put out the Garnet Fire near Fresno, California. I'm working just outside Auberry, California, up in the mountains, and this is watering number 4 on day number 4. We had these catastrophic things happening, so this chart is showing the sort of range of events, and I fill it in as I do these reports. We're nearly at the end of the fire, and essentially I think it's tomorrow, on 9/11, there's no movement of the fire beyond its own footprint, so they're going to continue growing the acre total, but that's actually containment growing. So I say fire growth ends here, it actually happens here on the 11th, which is why that has a green circle. In the reports that are written, there's just calmer language by the firefighting professionals on this day. I mentioned in yesterday's video from Tuesday, the intro of it, that there's a fire behavior analyst named Kevin Montoya working on this Garnet Fire. He's excellent. He says these really incredibly good things. He said that the burn window goes from being 22 to 24 hours all the way down to 4 to 6 hours. That I mentioned yesterday, but that takes place after 2 weeks or more of fire that's essentially 24 hours a day. All of a sudden on this day, the 4th day after I start watering, actually the 3rd day, after the 3rd day, overnight, the burn window closes all the way down to 4 or 6 hours. And so the fire can only really burn in the afternoon by Wednesday the 10th. It's so saturated in the air. The air is so moisture rich. So he says this is going to continue for the next 2 or 3 days. He goes on to say that last night and today were very successful. There was no real progression in the fire, that the McKinley Grove, where the Sequoia trees are, that are up to 3,500 years old, according to some of the journalism, that those trees are in a low intensity fire situation. The firefighters have done a good job of keeping the fire out. From my perspective, when they show the map and they talk about this is good and this is good and this is good, they basically say after, again, total catastrophe on Sunday, by Wednesday, they're basically starting to talk about buttoning things up. And so it looks like 75% of the containment region is pretty much complete, and now they're just verifying it. So the 75% of the fire appears to be contained just 2.5 days after it took off. They say that the smoldering will most likely continue within the perimeter, and that is what happens. That again, the forest fire doesn't really progress outside of its own footprint after tomorrow. And so it moved from active the day before, Tuesday, to smoldering on Wednesday. So moisture of extinction, humidity-rich air, shutting down probability of ignition, shutting down fire spread, shutting down any spread of fire beyond the perimeter of the fire. So essentially it is contained at this point. Now they just have to carry out their containment work. From my notes and stuff you're going to see in the video, what I'm experiencing is pretty remarkable. We're totally covered in clouds by mid-morning. And first of the morning, there's no smoke. It's all good clouds. The humidity is high. It's at 74%. Throughout the day, I begin with stimulations and then I go back to buckets. Stimulations are where you put your thumb on the hose, or you can use a hose nozzle, and you imitate rainfall, but you really work on that tree for a few minutes. You really try to give it sort of an ideal bath. Those stimulations bring in the clouds super strong on this day. They don't always bring in the clouds like you'll see in this video, but they really work today. What's also interesting is as soon as I stop the stimulations, the clouds go away. And so by nighttime, I figured it out. We're not going to get rain. I thought we were going to get rain. I was watering to get rain, knowing that we would get circulation, but we're not going to get rain at this point. We do get a super transpiration dome. We do get tons of cool air. There is snow not too far away. There is rain also not too far away. It gets to Shaver Lake practically. That's the next nearest town. And so you can just see and feel and tell if you're out there on the landscape that the trees want it to rain, and for whatever reason, it's not quite coming together. A couple of reasons might be, number one, we're on the wrong side of the valley. We're very far from the ocean. Number two, there's a huge fire not too far away. That's put tons of desiccating things into the air that prevent moisture movement for days on end. Number three, the reason there is that fire is because the whole system is so dry, deep down in the trees, in the leaves, in the air. And so we've only been at it for a few days trying to rehydrate a very severely droughted system. I would say about that like the whole system needs rehydration. It's reliably going to work if it has the hydration to work. So if I go in and, you know, on day 4, working in a huge area, am unable to get rain, I say in this video, this is a fail, but you know, it's not a fail. We put the fire out for one thing in a couple more days, or even on this day, from spread. And that was the goal. It didn't come, but what we get is eradication of fire, shutdown of a fire that just, man, 2.5 days earlier was raging out of control. So those are the good things to share about the context. I think that's enough, right? And hope you enjoy watching this footage. Thanks for checking it out. Please check out more. All right, good morning. It's about 7 a.m. It's just a few minutes before, and I think things are progressing in the right way. Rain has gone completely out of the forecast now through Sunday. I didn't look any further than that on the Apple and the AccuWeather, but there's a lot of moisture in these clouds. In fact, that should be the fire area over there. And humidity was 74% a few minutes ago down in Auberry. And of course, we're up in the mountains where it's going to be a little higher. So we got clouds, we got rain in those clouds. The fire report said fire activity continued until humidity increased in the night. You know, that sounds like the fire went out, more or less. And there's just so much to build on here. Look at that. Yeah, it's a totally different feel here. Like I almost don't even need to moisten the air or the ground at the moment by the house. Down here I was watering yesterday, so that's good, that's good, that's good. Let's see what happens. (7:38 a.m.) It is so very different here. Yesterday it was dusty and dry still. There's still going to be dust, but it's different, man. There's just moisture in the air. I wet all of that ground yesterday, and it's still kind of moist today. So that's huge. Okay, 8:53 a.m. I've been doing final water in techniques on these big trees over here. And we're hitting saturation point. I mean, we're totally covered in clouds, which we're not supposed to be. It was full sun till 1 p.m. And we've had stripes of blue and gray. This one in particular back here, since, so I said it's 8:53, since about 8. And they're just building. I'll walk over here and show you this stripe real quick. It's still to the west, not much happening. But good news, south and east and north, it's building. That's the stripe I was talking about. That's a good one. So with any luck, we'll get drops today or tomorrow. All right, now it's 9:21. We have rain closer than ever. But what's interesting is I just went all the way over there to the other side of the field, and it's clear. So like I stop stimulating and go to a different area and it doesn't look at all like there's gonna be rain. I've been stopped for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. And it's already clearing back up. So I do think we're gonna get rain today, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Man, trees are just amazing creatures that need so much more research. I'm standing here. We finally, as I mentioned, kind of got to saturation point. We crossed over a basic threshold of rain making the trees. And you can feel cool air moving right now. Standing by this tree that I'm filling buckets for. And so that's like right here. It's like just a gentle, soft, slow circulation. And you don't really see any indications of that. And mostly, the reason I turned the camera on, most importantly, or mostly, you of course don't see any movement from the bark. You know, it's not like the trees got lungs, and yet there's movement here. I don't know much about how to describe it, but anyway, it's definitely a form of breath in my experience so far. And there are many levels and layers of breath. This is the one that to me means we're getting somewhere, like in a substantial way, when you can feel the landscape starting to move cool air across it. And anyway, so that's where we're at right now. 10:05, I've been taking some breaks. Yesterday I wet this area and got shade out of it. I'm gonna try that again for a few minutes, see if that works. Try to get some clouds back. Okay, 10:22 a.m. We got it back. Look at that. Right in there. Now I'm working on this sunny section one more time. But yeah, it's growing fast. That's incredible, huh? Now it's 10:37 a.m. You can see substantial shade over that bright area. That was about 15 minutes of wetting, so that's maybe 15 gallons. It's probably more like 10, because I'm using the sprayer, not the full open nozzle. And then here's our cloud development. It is spreading. Big, beautiful gray. Got a little thinner in the last couple of minutes there. It was thick when I last looked. But yeah, now we have gray light and shade. Expanding awesomeness here. And I'm gonna finish water ends on this deciduous tree with all the buckets, or this clump of deciduous trunks. 11:04, and we got it. It spread. It's blocking out the sun part of the time. Headed towards the southeast, which is where we want it to go. And it's breaking up, but it's also holding its overall moistness and dampening or darkening the light, doing the sunbrella thing. There's the sun right there. See what I mean? We're looking right at it. Not very bright. And then these clouds. All right, 11:30. It did spread big time. The thickness, it was blocking out the sun. We had a ton of gray light, and I just kind of kept going with the trunk wetting. I did a really gentle trunk wet over here, which was super effective, and then I did the full height trunk wetting as far as I could get the gun or the nozzle to go. It's a funny rhythm. It's like you got to put water into the system, but you can also kick the clouds out by shocking your trees with cold water. I haven't really had that happen here. We just keep building towards these rain clouds. So it's back. Remember an hour ago we lost it, or whatever it was, half an hour ago? I don't remember, but it's been a while. I came down and did the techniques, and it's back. So I'm gonna move locations and set up and all that stuff, and probably be back in about an hour. Okay, it's 12:51 p.m. Behind me is the west. Overhead is the remnants of the rain cloud, but I had to put layers back on because it's cold again. Forgot to mention this in the last thing, but there's snow and rain not too far away. Right now it feels like we're getting cold snow winds, and the fire is supposedly over there, according to my compass, or over here even, where it's even grayer. So either way, from this vantage point, I'll be looking at looking more towards the fire area while I water over this part of the property. I have been all the way over there on the other side, and and yeah, so obviously we got game change here. Now we just need the next level, which is little drops to fall, and they're close. They're real close. So let's just see if we get lucky today and get some rain. Right, hi, it's 2:18 and we are at rain-making state. You can just tell by the sound of the ecosystem, it's quiet. But we don't have quite enough going. So the good news is the system's, working. And just keep it going. We should get something, I would think, by tomorrow night, maybe a lot sooner, maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday. We'll see. It's 2:33 p.m. and it went away about a minute and a half ago. Just cleared right up. I stopped doing stimulation. It's crazy, man. Sun is out, sound is back. We are no longer in rain-making state. We are back in a rain-hopeful state. So I'm filling these buckets round 2 on these 2 kind of largest, tallest deciduous babies. And as soon as I get this filled up, which will be by about 2:45, I'll do stimulation again for anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes, depending on how long it takes me. And so that'll take me to about 3:30, and we'll just see what happens. But man, crazy. It's just whoosh. The atmosphere is not our friend quite yet, but it's coming. Okay, then it's 3:40, and it didn't come back as strongly as I want it to, but it came back. You can see the difference. Wow, zow, that's a big one. Okay, and now we'll go overhead, which was clear blue when I started the stimulation. I still got sun in my eyes right now. And now we got a big rainy thing. And then this is the second time today, well, third time today, because I did it this morning before I turned the camera on. Third time today we've gotten this stimulation stuff working for us. Back to the idea that saturation is starting to take hold here on the landscape. And it's just so dark. That stripe. That should be, I guess, to the east. It's so hard to tell when your compass doesn't know. Should be to the east. That's about where the sun comes up. So yeah, direction of the fire is where the biggest gray clouds are. That's really good news. And it feels like it's going to clear back out again, but you know, we're doing the dance now. Bringing in the clouds, fighting back the sun. Yes, sir. All right, 4:24, and I just had a little bite of lunch, and I mean, overhead is like, it wants to rain. The trees want it to rain, rather. And we're under the dome of it all. So that's probably a really, really positive sign also, that we're starting to get a dome over this place. And same comment as always, we just keep going. Hope we get rain by Friday. It's 5:45, we still have remnants of the dome coming up the hill, but it sure has disappeared again. It's wild, man. Stop the stimulation, and it just goes right away. All right, hello, howdy. It's 11:07 p.m. I just did one more spritzing of the trees I could get to. I wanted to go do an actual second half of the watering I started as it was getting dark, but there's a bear somewhere in the neighborhood out here. I'm not comfortable with that. So I just stayed kind of closer to the house and spritzed for about 45 minutes on trees and stuff. It seemed to bring a little bit of haze to the sky, but only to the east. And I am nervous because the sky was clear as a bell when I walked outside. That's not at all what I wanted to see. I wanted to see more cloud development happening. And what's got me nervouser is AccuWeather shows just 0% chance of rain every hour through the weekend. Apple does as well. And I'm not sure why the rain chances have gone away for this area, but it was really interesting today to watch the clouds really bring rain right to our doorstep, but we never got the drops. And it's been wonderful the way it's moved across Northern California and Oregon. That wasn't really in the forecast, but it's not coming here or where we need it most, down on the fire zones. We basically have knocked out the danger elements of the fire unless something flips back the other way, meaning the relative humidity is super high. The what does the guy call it, moisture extinction or something like that, the fire behavior analyst for this fire said that will be achieved again tonight. From here on out, that makes it nearly impossible for fire to spread because the vegetation won't burn. It's moist enough that it just won't spread. So I mean, that's huge. But what I want is rain or raindrops, you know, and I don't think that's in the cards at the moment. So this will be the first, I guess, fail if rain doesn't come. That may be too strong of a word to use, but it's definitely, I was shooting for rain, and if we don't get it, we don't get it, you know. We had the most amazing clouds. I mean, we had huge gray clouds, but obviously the rain didn't fall. So with that said, I'm gonna go to sleep.